Hey pals, I'm here today to do some 5-star TBR predictions. So, I'm finally sitting back in front of some bookshelves. As you may know, my bookshelves came ripping off the wall last year and just had to be binned because they were wrecked. And so the vast majority of the books I've read are in boxes in the cupboard. Or I say the cupboard because it's just over there, but you can't actually see it. And the rest of them, I have one bookshelf of books I've read, which include a lot of the books I read last year, which have just been shelved straight onto there. And also some books that I was considering rereading this year and some books that I was also considering featuring in recommendations videos, so they're all out for me to have easy access to. And then this shelf here is my TBR. Now I've been thinking about doing a TBR shelf tour just so you can have an update of all the books I currently have. I have around 60, so I thought that might be interesting. Let me know if you would like to see that and I will try and film it quite soon. But something I was really keen to do was to look through those books and to choose the ones that I thought I was most likely to give 5 stars. I've picked 8, which out of like, I think there's 60, 70 books there, is quite optimistic. My ratio of 5 stars is probably a little bit lower than that. I'd probably give like 8 to 9% of what I read 5 stars. But you know, why not be optimistic? So I've got 4 fiction and 4 non-fiction, and I'm going to go fiction, non-fiction, fiction, non-fiction throughout the video. I hope that sounds good. The first one, I'm annoyed because this has a bit of sticker residue, which I don't know if you can see. I mean, that is Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. I do really like this UK paperback copy. I think it's really pretty. But yeah, not happy about that sticker residue, which I need to try and get off. And also, not overjoyed about the very small font, but there we go. This is quite a long book. It's just under 500 pages. But I'd always rather a book is even longer and has font that is more readable. But there we go. I've heard amazing things about this, and even if I hadn't, this is the type of book that I'm more likely to give 5 stars because this is a coming of age story focused on a young girl, which is like catnip for me. So many of my favourite books are coming of age stories focused on young girls. Now this one's particularly interesting because this is about the author's mother. I think she sort of fictionalised her mother's life. Her mother was called Betty and her mother was born in 1954 to a white mother and a Cherokee father. It says she inhabits a world of poverty and loss, of lush landscapes and blazing stars. And I think this is quite a difficult book. I think there's a lot of upsetting things that happen throughout this, but one thing that Betty holds on to throughout her childhood years and adolescence is that she loves to write, and so we sort of follow her coming of age story. And the back of this book actually has a section that's about her mother, the author's mother, and includes lots of photos. So yeah, and I think this photo on the front is actually a photo of her mother as a young girl. So I'm hoping to absolutely adore this one, and I think I'm going to pick this one up super soon because I'm just really in the mood to read chunky books at the moment, and I have so few chunky books on my shelves, so feel free to recommend me some chunky books. And this one is my most recent purchase, and it came out in January, and it came out last week. And that is This Is Vegan Propaganda and Other Lies the Meat Industry Tells You by Ed Winters. So I've been vegan now for I think about 4 years, and I actually went vegan because Johnny, my partner, came across a video online by a guy called Ed who has a channel called Earthling Ed, and Johnny just like watched loads of his videos and then you know, encouraged me to watch them. And yeah, sort of within hours of watching those videos, we were completely convinced. We've been thinking about going vegan for like a couple of years, and we sort of thought about it and not really done it. And one thing I'll say is, if it's something you think about, I'd really recommend watching Ed's videos. I'll link a couple below. Firstly, I think there's like knowing how bad the dairy and meat and egg industry is, and then actually like seeing it. And I think, I don't know, for me it was like once I'd seen actual footage of how horrific it is, I couldn't contemplate like continuing to be part of that. And secondly, Ed's just so good at talking in a non-judgmental, calm but passionate way to people who aren't vegan. And lots of his videos are him just having debates with people in a way which I could never do. All the information is at his fingertips and he just stays so calm. He's probably got like the best manners of everybody I've ever watched. So I really wanted to support him, and this is a book all about the sort of lies we're sold by the meat and dairy and egg industry, and it focuses on all different topics. The first one is all about morality and the reasons why people should go vegan. There's a section on breaking down the barriers, and also playing with fire, and all those sort of reasons why, you know, we're told certain things rather than the truth. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one. I can't say that I won't give it 5 stars because when he talks, I think he's phenomenal, so I think that will be a 5-star read for me. And then another green book with a brilliant cover is Sleepovers by Ashleigh Bryant Phillips. I'm pretty sure I heard Kendra over at, well, her channel was called The Reading Woman, but I'm pretty sure it's called Kendra Winchester now. Although maybe it always was, I don't know. That she ran the Reading Woman podcast and she's given lots of great recommendations over the years, and this was one I heard her talk about. The cover really drew me in, and then I looked into what it was about and just felt like I needed to get it, and this is one I picked up towards the end of last year. So this is a short story collection, like I said. It's a debut collection, and it says it takes us to a forgotten corner of the rural south full of cemeteries, soybean fields, fishing holes and duck-through gas stations. We meet a runaway teen, a mattress salesman, feral kittens, an elderly bachelorette wearing a horsehair locket, and a little girl named after Shania Twain. Here, time and memory circle above Philip's characters like vultures and angels as they navigate the only landscapes they've ever known. That sounds beautiful to me. And I read the first couple of pages of the first story, which is about the little girl named after Shania Twain, and I absolutely loved it, so cannot wait to get stuck into this one. Again, like all of these, I feel like I'm going to read really soon, and like finally it's easy for me to say that because they're like, you know, 1/7 of all the books I have, so I will get to them quite soon, which is very exciting. And this next one is a memoir. I absolutely love memoirs, so I had to include a couple on this list. And the first one is The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broome. I've heard amazing things about this, and I think this is going to have a blend of lots of themes that I really enjoy. So in this, the author is talking about her mother and the house that her mother raised them in, which was in New Orleans East. So Sarah's one of 12 children, and her mother was widowed 6 months after Sarah was born. I think she's the youngest child. And we follow their life in this house in New Orleans and what happens when Hurricane Katrina strikes. And it's just a commentary on this family, this place, and sort of all the different social aspects that affected their lives in this house. And it says that it's an astonishing memoir of place, class, race, the seeping rot of inequality and the internalised shame that often follows. I sort of flicked through this book, and it had a lot more like informative sections about the area than I was expecting, but I'm really interested in that, so I can't wait to pick this one up. I'm going to say that about all of them. The next one is absolutely stunning and just a joy to hold as well. It's like a floppy book and really heavy. And that is Butter, Honey, Pig Bread by Francesca Ekwuyasi. This is a Canadian book, as you can see from all the stickers, and this was longlisted for the Scotiabank Giller Prize and a selection for Canada Reads last year. This, it says, in sensuous mythic prose, this sweeping debut novel tells the interwoven stories of 3 Nigerian women, a mother and her 2 twin daughters. And I think this, yeah, so I think this is told between Montreal, London and Lagos, and this is like an intergenerational tale, and I flicked through, there seems to be quite a lot of dialogue. I really enjoy dialogue, but I don't think literary fiction books tend to be dialogue heavy, so I'm interested to read one that is. And yeah, the writing style is very lyrical. I love books that focus on mother-daughter relationships and sisters. This has both of those at the centre, and I'm also really interested in books that are set across different areas, so I just think I'm going to love this. All the reviews I've seen have all the like keywords of things I enjoy in books, so I will be shocked if this is not a 5-star read. The next one is another memoir, and again another beautiful book, and that is Golem Girl by Riva Lehrer. So this author was born in 1958 with spina bifida, and we follow her for 40 years of her life in this book. It says she endures endless medical procedures and is told she will never have a job, a romantic relationship or an independent life. But she finds a group called Disability Culture, and she sort of builds her own community, and she becomes a really successful artist. A lot of her art focuses on disability and the representation of disability in society. And I've heard people say that this is beautifully written, and I was flicking through all of these books before selecting them for this video, and just loved every page I landed on here. I love how detailed all the aspects of her life are in this. Her writing style is beautiful, and yeah, I just can't see myself not completely adoring this one. One that I've had on my shelves now for a couple of years, which is so frustrating because from the moment I bought it I was convinced I was going to love this book, so I don't know why, well I do know why it sat here so long. It sat here so long because I had too many books to read. But like I said, I'm finally down to a manageable number, so I would like to think I will read this one in the next few weeks, and that is Cantaras by Carolina de Robertis. Again, I heard lots of people talk about this one on BookTube when it came out a couple of years ago, and I pretty much heard like 5-star reviews across the board, and I picked it up because of that. It sounds wonderful. This opens in Uruguay in 1977. And I actually read the first couple of chapters of this at one point and then was really enjoying it, but just didn't have the time to read at that point and put quite a lot of books down that I was reading. And we follow a group of queer women, I think 5, who are friends and lovers, and they find this area on an isolated cape inhabited by just a lonely lighthouse keeper and a few rugged seal hunters that they claim as their secret sanctuary. And we follow them over the next 35 years as they travel and do different things with their life, but always come back to this location where they share time with one another. And during this time in Uruguay, it was a crime to be queer. So when the book opens, they will know a lot of people who are disappearing and who were either sort of political activists or were known to have queer lovers. And there's this ever-present fear, but one thing I hear a lot about with this book, and that I felt in those first 2 chapters, was this book is so much more focused on the joy of queer love and queer friendship than it is on anything else. And so yeah, I cannot wait to read this one. It has deckled edges, which I know lots of people don't enjoy, but I think are very pretty. So yeah, again, very hopeful about this one. And the last one is another memoir, but this one is a memoir and essays, which is something I absolutely adore, and that is Girlhood by Melissa Febos. Now, of course I'm going to love a book that's called Girlhood, but this one in particular sounds wonderful. So I think she's had a couple of previous books out. I think she used to work in the BDSM industry, and she's got a book that talks all about that called Whip It, which I've heard really good things about, so I would like to pick that one up as well. So in this, the author examines the link between her body and how she felt about boys and then men, and how really the expectations of society really shaped her connection to her body, which is something I'm always interested in. And what I love about this is it says it blends investigative reporting, memoir and scholarship. She charts how she and others like her have reimagined relationships and made room for the anger, grief, power and pleasure women have long been taught to deny. I think that sounds so interesting, and I cannot wait to read this one as well. So those are the 8 books that I think I'm going to give 5 stars. I'd love to know if you've read any of these and what rating you gave them. I'd also like to know if you have any books that you're planning on reading soon that you think you're going to give 5 stars. And like I said, I haven't got many chunky books on my shelves, so if you have recently read some chunky books that you would highly recommend, do mention them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!